Thank you all so much for joining in. We have a lot of people in this session, so we'll try to get through it all. But so basically, when Jonathan and Jed proposed this panel idea, I was very honored and also slightly overwhelmed to narrow down what was already an impressive 28 brands that were selected into this year's LMCC. Was an extremely difficult process, but we did want to shine a light on 8 exceptional brands founded by exceptional people that truly stand out in what is an increasingly crowded marketplace. The editor's choice designation was basically based on my 6 years now of testing and reviewing hundreds of CBD and cannabis-based beauty and wellness products, plus the following criteria. So I'll just run through those quickly. The first was quality and integrity of the product. The second was the founder's story. Third was sustainability practices, innovation and uniqueness for the fourth. The fifth was commitment to inclusivity and diversity. And finally, the relevance to our LMCC audience. So during this session, we're basically gonna kind of do a spin on a Shark Tank-esque speed round. So basically, I'm going to call upon each of the 8 brands and the founders in a random order that I was given to give a 60-second elevator pitch, followed by a follow-up question that kind of comes from your pitch. And then if time permits at the end, for everybody tuning in, feel free to use the chat function to submit questions throughout the session. And I'll do my best to try and pick a handful of those out at the end. So we will dive in. And first up, I have Britni Jessup with Hatshe. I think I'm pronouncing that correct. But Britni, go ahead with your pitch.
Well, I wanted to start this morning too by saying thank you to Katie and to Jonathan and the LMCC team. We're really humbled and honored to be a part of this amazing group of brands and visionaries in the cannabis space. It's still super early here on the West Coast. It's been a really intense and draining week here in Oregon. Some of the fires are burning just a few miles from our front door, and we have friends and family that have been evacuated, and some have even lost. So things are super stressful right now, but we really need our own well-being. And so, funny enough, that's how I got to be sitting here today talking a little bit about CBD. Was that my own path to cannabinoids came through my own stress management tools, which as a former athlete, has always been exercise and activity. Our involvement in cannabis came in 2015 when my husband came to me and said, we're going to start a recreational cannabis farm here in Oregon when it became legal. And it seemed, I think I might have even laughed out loud when he said that. It seemed so far-fetched for us where we were at in our life at the time. But really, we learned so much so quickly, and we jumped in so fast that 5 years in cannabis actually seems like a lifetime. But we did it, and we started building a knowledgeable team. Yeah, we built an experienced and knowledgeable team, and we started experimenting with products. I have, the broken body of a long-time multi-sport athlete and an avid outdoors person. So topicals were kind of where I headed. They fixed me up, and they got me right back out doing what I love to do. So we call it kitchen witching around our house, where we get to pull out the double boiler and do our own extractions. And we started mixing and creating ingredients. Endless versions and samples later, working with our family and friends, test batches here and there. We've perfected our line, and we launched Hatshe about a year ago. Now we actually work with a local facility that's vegan and kosher certified, but it's no longer made in my kitchen. But that's where Hatshe came from. That's how it came to be, and then that's where our products come from.
Amazing, thank you. One of the things that stood out to me was, your athletic background, which you spoke about, but obviously you're focused on the outdoor active lifestyle. I'm based here in the mountains of Colorado, so always love when brands kind of align with my own lifestyle, no bias, but one of the products that you are known for already in your short time is your tangerine relief gel, which is absolutely one of my ultimate favorite topicals so far that I've found and tested. The formula is so unique, but I'd love for you to tell us just a little bit about the inspiration behind that product and how, as much as you can share about that formulation, because there really isn't anything like it out there that I've experienced that, is so effective in muscle recovery for all of our outdoor pursuits.
Well, I like to joke that I have the shoulder of a 95-year-old woman, but the rest of my body still thinks that it's 22. And so I try and get out there and do the things that I really want to be doing, but my shoulder reminds me often that it's not in the cards for me. So I started actually taking kind of the nightly regimen of ibuprofen to help my muscles relax and help me actually go to sleep. And when we kind of came together with the cannabis space, I was like, I can't do this. This is not good for me. I know I need sleep, but this is not the way to get it. And so I had started using kind of camphor and menthol-based topical rubs. We've all seen them on the store in the CVSs of the world. But I started mixing that with some of the CBD topicals and lotions that we had, and just slowly over time, the two kind of came together, and the tingly tangerine gel has become a cult favorite for sure. It's something that once you try it, the tingle kind of makes the pain go away, takes the edge off for me so that I can go to sleep. And then the CBD kind of kicks in later and really helps seal the deal. Sometimes I like to put our salve over the top of it too, just so that my shoulder locks it all in there a little bit better too.
Perfect. Thank you, Britni. Next, we have Jessica Bates with Moon Mother Hemp, which is a Colorado-based brand down in Boulder.
Hi, how's everyone doing today? I'm Jessica from Mother Hemp Company. We are a woman-owned, family-operated brand here in Boulder. We grow all of our own hemp on our certified organic farm here in Colorado. We have a robust line of supplements, topicals, and beauty care products. And as a certified clinical herbalist, I started out similar to Britni, just kind of making products for my family and friends. Started out at the farmer's market and ended up here. It's been really amazing. But as an herbalist, I formulated each one of the products with a synergistic blend of herbs and CBD in order to create a specific targeted effect. And we are a mission-based brand as well, focus on social justice, environmental justice, and follow. We also follow environmentally sustainable farming practices. That's it.
Amazing. And Moon Mother Hemp is really interesting to me because you are one of the very few that kind of is all-encompassing. You are so involved in every step of the process. You mentioned your sustainable farming operation, and that is where everything starts for you, and then it goes all the way to your own flagship store in Boulder. But tell me a little bit about how that was, that kind of model for your company was so important to kind of have that, control on every aspect of the process, which is increasingly rare in this space.
Yeah, it is definitely increasingly rare in the space, especially in the beauty space. But it's extremely important for us. My husband and I have 30 years combined experience in the cannabis space and in herbal medicine space. And so we've always been plant touching people. We've always been, we've had a sacred relationship with the cannabis plant from the beginning. And so making sure that we are the ones growing the cannabis, making sure that we're honoring the plant and honoring the soil and the birds and the bees and everybody who's in the process of growing the cannabis has been really important to us. Just making sure that every single part of the process and every single step is ethical is extremely important for us. Our supply chain is, we pride ourselves on an extremely ethical supply chain from start to finish. and including every single step that we make across the board.
Amazing. And it definitely, comes across in your actual products. I think that connection is so apparent and very well done. So thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, absolutely.
Next we have Kimberly Dillon with the just launched Frigg Wellness. Hi, Kimberly. Kimberly, I think you need to unmute.
Is this better?
Yes, there we go. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. We launched 7 weeks ago, and we're really thrilled to be here. So thank you. And I love everyone's room. I come to this space having worked for a company called Populum. I was the chief marketing officer there, and I helped grow that brand from $0 to over 35 million during my tenure there. And then I left last year to start Frigg, which is a line that fights the impacts of stress on our hair and our skin. And our whole product development is really around understanding how stress impacts our beauty systems. Specifically, the rise of cortisol leads to the reduction of collagen, biotin, hyaluronic acid in our skin. It can also lead to things like psoriasis, eczema, and hair loss. So we build all of our solutions with a combination of phytocannabinoids like CBD and CBG with pretty powerful botanical actives. We launched with a hair oil, a face oil, and a sleep tea, really to demonstrate in our capsule collection our commitment to both inner wellness and outer wellness. I named the company Frigg because I'm obsessed with comic books, and Frigg is Thor's mother. And in real life Viking society, there was a group of women who worshiped Frigg, who were found in archaeological digs to have cannabis and gold, which are two of my favorite things. Something that makes our brand really interesting is that we have a scientific advisory board. So we didn't start in our kitchen. We started from a need. I was doing a focus group actually on lube. And I noticed that a lot of the Black women, surprisingly, were using the product in their hair because of the extensions and the wigs. There's a lot of pain when you wear wigs. And so we were all using tinctures in a variety of different ways. And so we developed a hair oil product that both is pain relieving but fights dandruff, eczema, and the tension from wearing really tight hairstyles. And so when we think about inclusion, we're thinking about it from our product development to our farmers. So we specifically work with farm in Hudson Valley, a woman-owned farm. We made sure that a part of our vendors are either minority or women-owned, and that we're thinking about our product roadmap for those unique use cases. We also focus on sustainability and zero waste in the sense that we're using a lot of the bio-waste from biomass. So a lot of our exfoliators are the leftover expectorants of our extraction process. We're using the hydrosols as a fragrance from specific strains. And we're trying to really tap into the zero waste potential of the hemp plant. And then the last thing I'll say is that we focus on more than CBD. We focus on the minor cannabinoids plus adaptogens. We are incredibly focused with our scientific advisory board, which is all women and all women of color. They help develop every single product and SKU that we make. And then as an organization, we're focused on mental health and giving back to those organizations through we give 10 minutes. Each cell represents 10 minutes of meditation or online sort of therapy. I came into cannabis because of my intense anxiety. And obviously when your hair is not looking good or you're not looking good, it's a cycle of anxiety. And so I wanted to really break that and look as good as I'm trying to feel on the inside.
I love it. Thank you. When I first heard about Frigg, a couple months ago, I was so thrilled to hear that you were the woman behind it. I had followed your career for a while now at Papa and Barkley, which is nothing short of impressive, but I'm curious, throughout that time, I know you were there for a number of years, but what was that kind of aha light bulb moment for you where you thought you could venture out on your own and develop your own line of products?
I mean, I think it's odd when you're in a focus group for a lube product and then you're noticing all the Black women saying that they're using it in their hair. Like, that's not a normal thing. And so it's like, oh, we're not really developing products that are addressing this particular audience. And then it made me think of like, well, what are all these different use cases of pain or eczema, psoriasis that people might not be thinking about? And so that was really sort of the genesis, was people using Foria on their scalp.
Right. Wow. Amazing. Well, thank you, Kimberly. Next, I have Asel with Kana Vita.
Asel, yes.
Asel, sorry. I'm
Wonderful.
really going to butcher that.
Nice to meet you all, guys. I'm so glad to be here. And thank you, Katie, for choosing us as well. It's an honor. Well, our journey with cannabis started back in 2014 when my husband got diagnosed with degenerative disc disease. And he was managing his pain with, pain drugs, which I wasn't happy with. And so we decided to venture out into cannabis. And so back then, it was in Michigan. Legal cannabis was in place and there were dispensaries. And so we would go to the dispensary to get the cannabis from my husband. And I always felt like it was, unregulated. It was a dark place where everybody was just, it's a very male-dominated place, okay? And I did not feel comfortable being there. And so the product wasn't tested at all, and so I decided to grow my own cannabis. And I was like, okay, we can do it. And back then I was not happy with my financial career, and so I decided to find something new, and that was cannabis. And so our product was born, and it was beautiful, and we achieved success with dispensaries, and but I still felt like this area was male dominated, and I felt more of this. I had this luxury design, creativity spark in me that I always wanted to put in life. And I wanted to create something that would attract more of the females and would make them understand cannabis better and be curious about cannabis and amazing properties. And so I decided to create a beauty line. And I thought that this would be something that all of my friends would be interested in, and I was right. And so it became, very popular and successful around my friends. And so here we are with Kana Vita.
Amazing. What I found so interesting about your brand, not only is it just beautiful from the outside, but the formula is so special. But talk a little bit about where you source. I know you source Idlewild flower from Switzerland, and the hemp that you use for your CBD extract is also actually grown in Switzerland. So tell us a little bit about that process and how you came together with both of those sources.
Yes. So while we loved growing cannabis in Michigan, it didn't come without it didn't come with legal consequences. And there was a lot of laws changing in Michigan. So we decided to switch to CBD. And we were looking for farms that would have the same efficacy of growing the product as we had when we were growing medical cannabis. And we found the farm in Switzerland. And, it's just absolutely gorgeous and organic. And when we went there, it was in the high mountains of Switzerland. And the water that is being given to the hemp plants are pure mountain water, which couldn't be better because growing medical cannabis, water is very important. It has to be alkaline. And, natural water that comes from the mountains is naturally alkaline. And so it grows for a beautiful, high-quality product. And so because we found this high quality product to put in our formulation, we decided to stick with the Switzerland ingredients entirely with our beauty line. And so we found this very new ingredient called Idlewild flower. Just in 2014, they started to research more about it and properties and benefits for the skincare. And they found a ton of beautiful benefits for the skin, such as twice more powerful than vitamin C for the antioxidant properties. Also, because it grows in a high mountain of the Swiss Alps, it grew naturally to protect itself from the UV environment. And so it's natural protection from the UV rays. We can't really claim anything, but it is very natural, and like I said, it's got twice the amount of antioxidant power than vitamin C. So, and there is more to this plant, and I can go for hours about it, but it's just being researched, and there's more and more beautiful benefits for it.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you.
Next, we have Karina Marconi with Antedotum, which is actually based just down the street from me here in the high country of Colorado. Good morning, Karina.
Good morning. Hi, everyone. We're so grateful and excited to be here. Just a little bit about Antedotum. We are a purpose-driven brand for all. The genesis of our name is derived from the Latin word to remedy, or a powerful remedy, an antidote. You know, we believe, personally, I believe, since I've been here in the high country, CBD has just been such an incredible ingredient in my daily ritual. And we really found it's just been such an incredible antidote to skin health and overall wellness. So we've created an incredible line of CBD skincare. We've been in a soft launch here in Aspen, and this is our official national launch. This month, our CBD is extracted from organic, full spectrum, small batch hemp. You know, we've created our own CBD complex. There's a lot of CBD out there, and we chose to create our own proprietary CBD complex with the formulator, which we're really proud of and has been just an incredible thing for our skin. You know, Antedotum, we thrive on transparency, and we believe social responsibility is just a huge part of our business. We are minority owned and led, and we just got our MBE, our Minority Business Certification. I'm originally from Puerto Rico and Cuba, and we give 5% of our profits to the Posse, the Awesome Posse Foundation, and they really help in fostering the come tomorrow's leaders. Oh, can you hear me?
Amazing. What I love about Antedotum is the kind of overall brand essence that I know, you know, has such a special connection to, you know, the nature that surrounds us here and our environment, and how, you know, it can help our skin battle those elements of the environment. But talk a little bit about the inspiration behind, you have such beautiful branding and such beautiful packaging.
I don't think we put it in the box.
And just tell us a little bit more about how Aspen and kind of being here in nature versus in a major city kind of influenced the essence of Antedotum.
Aspen, I've lived all over the world, from Paris to DC to LA, and Aspen is truly just been an incredible place to live because of the unparalleled beauty and the mountains, and just the natural beauty and the overall sense of wellness. But also that's juxtaposed with kind of that French culture with Hunter S. Thompson. And so our packaging, is really inspired by our unique history, and Aspen is transformed. I just wanted to create a product that would really transform, like leave the farmer's market and make it to become more accessible. And for me personally, living in the high country, as you know, the altitude and extreme sun and wind and those extreme harsh conditions was truly wreaking havoc on my already existing skin conditions, just from aging and of course all of the environmental assaults that we have on our skin. My background is with Chanel, and I just felt that there was an opportunity, and that Aspen really needed a brand that could, you know, that justifies, because we are one of the birthplaces of the CBD and cannabis movement. So it just felt like the perfect, with my background and living here, and it just felt like the perfect opportunity to create a best-in-class CBD product. It's been a great proving ground as a startup. The community has been so supportive, and Aspen will always be a source of inspiration for our future products.
Amazing. Thank you, Karina.
Thank you. Good to see you.
You too. Next, we have Gunhee Park with Populum. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it off. My name's Gunhee Park. Hello, everyone. I'm the founder of Populum. A little bit about me. I'm originally from South Korea, where I grew up in a family and culture that really emphasized herbal remedies, and ended up immigrating here in high school. I ended up starting Populum in 2016 with the mission to help destigmatize hemp and CBD among the general public. And I'm really proud of how far we as a brand, but also all of us as an industry have come in the last 5 years, especially when it comes to quality and transparency in this unregulated market. A few things about where we are today as a brand. Populum offers full spectrum products ranging from supplements, topicals, to even pet products. We're one of the top subscription-based companies in the industry, where we're proud to have grown organically by focusing on customer experience and product efficacy. We've now served over 20,000 customers over the past 4 years, with thousands of them being monthly subscribers. Just so you remember us, I wanted to quickly share a tidbit about Populum. The name Populum also has a Latin background. It means for the people. So when you think of or hear of Populum next time, remember that we're on a mission to bring CBD to the people. So that's a little bit about us, and thanks again for having me here.
Thank you. I'm not sure if for everybody, but I think we lost your video. We could definitely hear.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that.
No, that's okay.
Let me try resetting the video portion.
Yeah, no worries.
Still not there?
You're back.
Oh, okay. That's good. All right.
Perfect.
Well, I'm glad the audio didn't cut off at least.
Well, yeah, in terms of Populum, you know, you were one of the early topical and CBD supplement brands to come onto the market in 2016. So you've been at it quite a while in comparison to a lot of newer brands. And, you know, kind of in terms of your product lineup, I know it spans tinctures, gel caps, and then of course your best-selling cold therapy rub, which is another one of my go-to favorites. But tell us just a little bit about you know, the kind of perspective you have on your products, because I know, you know, a lot of times with newer brands, you know, people are kind of covering all different aspects of CBD, but what I love about Populum is it's remained very simple, and of course, to your point, very accessible. So what's kind of your approach on how you look at your product offerings? Yeah,
one of the coolest things about how we developed our product lines, in my opinion, was we originally started with tinctures, which even to this day is probably one of the most popular product applications, but each SKU or product line that we developed from there was mainly customer feedback generated. So for instance, starting from the tincture, we would get feedback about customers who own pets or horses or anything like that, wanting to give their CBD to their animal companions. Similar story with capsules. A lot of customers that were more male found tinctures to be a bit more inconvenient to take, especially like on business trips, or just tinctures were more of a foreign way of taking a supplement for older male customers. So that generated us to go after capsules. So in that way, we're proud to have grown among different product lines. But one of the things that we recognized early on was if you go to a lot of bigger brands in the market right now, you'll find that a lot of customers get overwhelmed from the amount of choices when they're shopping online. When you just think of a tincture, there's not only just a 500 milligram tincture, but there's a 500 milligram in 3 or 4 different tastes. There's the night versus day formula. There's all these different things where it caused more confusion among customers. And our focus has really been to simplify. We still only have our core set of tinctures that we developed, 3 or 4 that we continue to refine since then, but not really just going after the fads, but just sticking with what really works and listening to our customers.
Excellent, thank you. Our 7th brand is another Colorado-based brand down near Denver, Common Ground, and we have Cam and Justin. Good morning.
Good morning, Katie. We're excited to be here. So Coming Around started with a desire to create something both impactful and deeply beautiful, not just aesthetically, but also intrinsically. Austin and I saw that there was so much room in the world for someone who was willing to be a pioneer in the industry, scientifically and socially. So our plan of attack from the get-go has been to capitalize on the frontier of minor cannabinoids like CBN and CBG, which we all know 3 years ago many people hadn't even heard of. So by formulating our products using these powerful and beautiful strains, we've been able to reach and speak to people and their ailments in ways that would have been largely impossible had we ignored the whole spectrum of cannabinoids.
Amazing. And I know, similar to Moon Mother and increasingly rare, but I know that you also have your hands deep in the roots of your cannabis plants. But tell me just a little bit more about that process and kind of why that was so important to you. I mean, especially to your point in talking about, really being at the forefront of incorporating the many, many other cannabinoids aside from just CBD that we see in so many of the products that are out there.
So in the beginning, we started on this entire journey really in the search of CBN was the primary minor cannabinoid we were looking for. I have a myriad of sleep issues, and I blame my mother for that. I thank her for many other things, but I blame her for that one. And we found that very few people were cultivating strains of cannabis across the board with sufficient levels of CBN, whether that was in the cultivation process or post-cultivation. And so we spent far more money and far more time than we should have trying to find CBN. And so we started in Colorado, started in that farming and cultivation process. And through that process, learned so much about how to cultivate unique strains of hemp in ways that were not just organic, but ways that were synergistic with other supporting botanicals that we wanted to incorporate into our products. And this year, we actually just acquired our newest property. We acquired an R&D farm in Northern California, which we were super excited for until we were evacuated a few days ago. Luckily, Cal Fire stopped the fire about a half mile from our farm in Northern California.
Oh, wow.
And so it was just 2 days ago that we got back there. We're kind of evaluating everything. Everything is fine, but it's really interesting to see how many people in this industry are still doing what we're doing, even though it is becoming more and more rare, and involving themselves on such an arduous and emotional level with the plants that we are all here to celebrate.
Amazing. And then I think we have one last brand that is joining us. Hold on 1 second, bear with me. And also for anybody in on this session, if anybody has any questions for any of the brands that have spoken so far, feel free to submit those in the chat sidebar, and I can get through a couple of those while we wait for our last brand. One of the questions we have, and I guess maybe just anybody feel free to jump in here and we can take a couple answers, but one of the questions we have is, what have all of you done, or a few of you done, to maintain sales during COVID since March? And has anybody been, surprised to see sales increase? Has anybody, experienced a decline that is affecting your business. But maybe Britni, if you want to jump in first, since you were the first we heard from.
Yeah, sure. We've really seen it in our direct-to-consumer sales. So we've been spending a little bit more time and effort and energy going out and finding our customers and really meeting them where they're at right now, which is shopping online, like the rest of us. So that's where we've seen the biggest change, I think, in our business. Before that, we were going after some wholesale accounts and really managing those a little bit differently. But from the last few months, it's really been finding our people.
Great. And what about for Populum? I'm curious, because you are one of the longest established brands. Have you seen the pandemic affect your sales in recent months?
So one of our focus this year prior to the pandemic was to start to establish more retail partnerships and whatnot. Obviously, a lot of those had to kind of go out the window and we've had to pivot. However, with online sales and especially with our subscription focused business model, we've been very fortunate that it not only stayed stable, but we were able to grow since the start of this year. So overall, I remind our team of how fortunate we are and to be online focused. Things like that's the general shift that I've seen in the market, where more and more CBD interest and purchases are being made online.
Great. And here's a question for Moon Mother Hemp. Sorry, I just lost it. What are some of the ways that Moon Mother Hemp is keeping your customers? I know you have such a loyal following and customer base, especially having that presence in Boulder with your storefront. But what are some of the ways you've been able to stay engaged with your customers and supporting your retailers? I know you also have quite a few retailers through social media throughout this time.
Yes, absolutely. So one of the ways that we've been able to maintain our customer base is by maintaining authentic relationships with our clients, not only through supporting them with engaging content that actually hits home, but by also maintaining close relationships with our retailers. We've spent a long time developing these relationships, and they need us to meet them where they are right now. So we've been working with them closely in order to reduce minimums, extend terms, and different ways that we can show up to our community.
Excellent. Another question, and maybe this would be a good one for Kimberly, but as a brand new direct-to-consumer brand, Anastasia is looking for tips for entering the wholesale market.
Pat, I'm live on the video. What am I saying? Okay, bye.
Oh, I think you're on mute again. Sorry.
I think it's really about being thoughtful and
there we go.
Your pricing. I think sometimes when you go to direct to consumer and you don't think about wholesale initially, you price yourself out and really understand what it takes to support wholesale and the time it takes to do wholesale. I actually think in this time you kind of have to be strategic about which channels you go after. It can be a lot to launch a DTC and do wholesale at the same time initially. So being very thoughtful about the channels and really understanding the investment it takes to support your wholesale accounts and the terms of cash flow, I think is also another one to really be thoughtful about.
Great, thank you. And welcome, Juliana. Thanks for joining. But our 8th brand is King Finley, which I was personally super excited about. It is the first, actually, luxury pet line. And I have a 13-year-old golden doodle, so have been increasing her CBD routine in her golden years. So tell us a little bit about your brand.
Yeah, so we're so excited. King Finley actually, it just launched this month, and it's the first, CBD brand designed for the most discerning of canines. We really wanted to create a luxury experience for the consumer to share with their pet. So it's been really fun. It's kind of like I don't know if you could get from the vibe of our background here, but it's kind of like I feel like it's like the Ron Burgundy of like products for your canine or something. But it's all about sharing that luxury experience with your pet. People become so when you have a dog, a cat, and a pet, like they become an extension of your family. And we know the CBD customer is discerning to begin with, and we're really going after that customer that is pampering themselves, and now it's giving them the opportunity to really pamper for their pet. And also the healing and the calming and the benefits of CBD for your pet are so incredible. So it's really a good positive impact on your pet.
Amazing, thanks. And
Yeah.
I'm curious too. I mean, obviously, for a pet line, without being able to get actual feedback from our beloved dog, tell me just a little bit about, I know you, in terms of the quality, it is human grade, but how did you kind of come to the formulation, and have you gotten any kind of insight from veterinarians or kind of any directive from any other canine experts in your formulas?
Well, we really went to the most extreme lengths to make it human grade, to make sure that the ingredients on it were, for a discerning human as well.
Right.
So that's first and foremost of like the utmost importance. It's plant-based, it's vegan, it's kosher, it's human grade. So those qualities, being organic, really make it the best quality that you can give to your dog or your canine.
Great. Well, thank you. And we are just coming up on the end of the session time, but thank you all so much for joining us and for sharing just a little bit more about your amazing brands. And I am so honored to be able to help shine the spotlight on you guys, and wish you all the continued success as you continue to grow your businesses.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.